Hello, everybody. I'm Louise Winchester, the spiritual business mentor and the founder of Sacred Space. And this is Helen Dunne joining me today, the salonpreneur and the salon mentor. And today we're going to have a conversation about the state of things through the media and being drawn into social media and learning how to live in the new world with all the stuff that's being shoved down our throats, I would say, by everybody from prime ministers to state premiers, and the suffering that people are going through, the financial hardship. And we're just going to have an open discussion about maybe the possibility of a fine balance between understanding whether it's a part of your soul contract to actually get involved in all of the debate, or actually just pull yourself back and your energy back to what it is that you need to focus on, and what's really important for you right now to accomplish as a part of your earth walk and mission, and not allowing all of this chaos to keep eating away at your consciousness, because it's like a thick soup at the moment in the astral, and everybody is being impacted. And we're about to go into our galactic new year, which is the 8th, where the gates begin to open and we can start absorbing like new energy from the cosmos. And all of this stuff that's been going on this year is really to disempower as many people as possible. So anybody after this discussion wants to post a link, wants to post a comment, feel free to. This is going to go into the Sacred Space Global group, and hopefully Helen and I are going to have some interesting debate and discussion about this. And then in the coming weeks, we hope to start going live on topics and subjects and inviting you guys to actually talk to us on a regular basis. So welcome, Helen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
So
Yeah.
Helen's been quite active on social media. You post regularly, don't you? And I think we've both compared notes on all the information that's been flying backwards and forwards through the internet on trying to expose whether this is a plandemic, as everybody's calling it, whether the Illuminati is involved, like the agenda around China, the governments and what they're up to and what they're doing. We've talked about our frontline health workers, all sorts of stuff. So I'd like to hear your views and your opinions on all the stuff that you've seen so far, and the decisions that you've now made. Obviously, we need people to spread things through social media, but there comes a point where you've got to go, this is going to drop my frequency and pull me off mission. So let's hear.
Absolutely. Yeah, I find because of the line of work I'm in, I'm very embedded in the density of what's going on, particularly because I work with young people, and they're so influenced by their family around them, and they're all scared. So I feel like I'm constantly trying to, they come into my energy and they feel safe because I'm not scared. But at the same time, I feel like I'm constantly just working at trying to show them a different perspective on things. And then in addition to that, I've always been a really aware of current affair and things like that, but at the same time quite spiritual as well. And with the work we've been doing, it's been I know my future is in helping people raise their consciousness and rising above this. But at the same time, I find myself getting pulled into it as well.
I don't think there'd be anybody on the planet that isn't being pulled into it, because it's such a disparity between polarity-based consciousness of the third dimension and where we've already aligned our energy to, which is a new frequency and vibration that is of liberation and freedom. And now we're watching the global collapse of the old patriarchal system, but we're seeing also the fight from them to control us.
Yes.
And what's being triggered in us is old memories of fear, of like losing battles or losing. It's in the collective consciousness of humanity that you know, really, you've got one aspect of it that's smoke and mirrors, where you've got people can't discern how truthful somebody is. Like, so some people struggle with being able to. I had a conversation with someone at the weekend where, you know, they were very pro, thinking the Prime Minister of Australia had been doing such a fantastic job. And I said, yeah, but can you not see a really weird smirk on his face all the time? Like he's on a power trip and things like that. I ask people to actually see what it is that's right in front of your face, because these guys know more than you do. They're on a power trip, as well as, yes, I understand the need to slow things down and shut things down, but start to see like what's behind things. Do your own investigation. You know, when the thing came up in America recently with the doctors that were just talking about what they're treating their patients with hydroxychloroquine, I thought that was very interesting. So I went right down the rabbit hole, dug up all the papers, dug up all the scientific research, dug up like which countries had actually used it and implemented it, and looked at Australia and went, they banned it.
Yeah.
They banned us using it. They banned the hospitals from using it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've just got to say there is definitely an agenda behind all of this, and it isn't a good one. And if you have inside of you some sort of like need to be an activist and spread the news, then fantastic. We need that. We need that as a global community. But if not, and you know, it's not something that is, you know, it's just gotta, you just got to decide whether it's going to take you off course. Like I am sick to death of trying to clean my energy after I've processed everything that's going on in the world, quite honestly.
Yeah. And I find like some people, as you know, they're just not ready. They're not ready to hear it. Like, and I've got to the point where I've had friends that have just said, I can't be friends with you anymore because they think I've gone nuts. And, you know, you start to question yourself thinking, have I? But things just don't add up. Like even yesterday I had the revelation of, did they try and do this firstly with the swine flu and that didn't work? And then they've brought out SARS and that didn't work, but COVID has. Like I just had that revelation thinking, did they try that already? You know, there's sort of like, you know, I'm heading down that conspiracy type path, but how do we know how do we know that wasn't their agenda already? And anyway, jumping off onto that.
Very worrying statements coming out of Bill Gates.
But that's the thing, but yeah, I'm sort of just, people aren't ready to actually hear another perspective on things. And it's just like I found, like I put a post up yesterday because I thought my job is to actually empower people. And I'd found myself, you know, putting posts up previously going, what about this? What about the doctors in the US? What about, and I thought, well, I can still do that gently, but maybe it's about just reminding them that their voice is starting to activate, and maybe it's time for them to start listening to their own voice too. So I thought that would be a good way of actually just reminding them that the power does lie within, you know, within themselves as well, to find their own truth. And it's out there to be found.
It
Yeah.
certainly is, and there is an awful lot of it. And also, obviously, there's the odd piece of information that comes out that isn't 100% genuine, or that might just be a coincidence. Or, and I'll give you one example of that, and that was the topic that came out, which was about 5G causing COVID-19.
Mm.
And somebody had linked it back to the first city that had gone COVID-19 happens to be Wuhan, and then that spreading through the internet. But what I really think is a massive problem, and probably something that needs to be addressed on a massive level, is censorship, which is ridiculous. And how we can put a post up about any topic, and I think that even just using the word H,
See you.
yeah, whatever
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
like, and I don't know if I used it earlier, but even using that and then pulling the feed down associated with that is just, again, it's not
Mm.
cool to be doing that, because they're
Yeah.
trying to fight back in ways which eventually what we will do is we'll all migrate to other platforms where we can have freedom of speech, where we are allowed to discern whether something is like our own personal truth, and we absorb that and decide whether that's our personal truth or not. But we
Mm.
should have the ability to post whatever we want. It's so called social media.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And look, we're so blessed to have it, because we wouldn't know what we know. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't have, and perhaps it has.
it's a great revealer,
It is.
but it's being manipulated.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And my question is what don't they want us to know? And I've never had so many friends on social media of late that have been blocked. Blocked from speaking for 30 days, had their post pulled. It is just every day I pull up for social media and somebody is being blocked for speaking their truth,
Mm,
and or sharing a revelation that they've
mm,
discovered.
mm.
Interesting. And it's all along the same vein.
So I think what the way forward for whether this is a spiritual way forward, whether this is a blind way forward, maybe it's about actually setting intentions and asking the universe to bring the wave through that allows the changes so that this doesn't continue, because it can't continue. So
Mm.
we will experience the collapse of the old paradigm and the old patriarchy, because we're aligned with the galactic center now. This is a time that was always spoken of by the ancestors, and we are here to witness the destruction of the old matrix, and the younger generation are here to be the rebuilders. I had an interesting conversation a few weeks ago with one of my colleagues, Asha, and we were talking about the different generations. And I can't remember all of the conversation, but I'm a Gen X, and I think so are you.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gen X's were really brought through to rehabilitate the astral plane, to free up the grid and the ley lines of the earth so that the new energies could be brought online. And with that, we were the genetic path cutters that brought through like spirituality back to the world, to the masses. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there were different kinds of star seeds that were born in that time frame. And then obviously you've got the white Gen Ys that have then come through, and the Gen Ys are actually really here in the struggle to save the earth. And then the Gen Zs are here as the rebuilders.
Mm.
which is the babies at the moment.
Yeah.
So the Gen Ys are really needing to come forward and be the activists they're the ones that are going to go toe to toe with the energy. So
Yeah.
we've done it on the spiritual, we've done it on the quantum level, and they are literally going to have to go up and
Yeah.
break
Step
the
up.
old systems and the old paradigm, and then the new will come through, the new energy will come through and be rebuilt.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Yeah. I can see that. I can see, well, we know that that's how it's to play out. It's just empowering that generation to do it. And they've been drugged a lot. They've been hobbled with their ADHD, medication and that sort of thing. So it's, once they kind of again perhaps wake up to the fact that if they've got a lot of energy, it's because they've brought it into the world to do something with it.
yeah, absolutely. ADHD is actually quite an interesting energy to work with. So I find that I'm really grounded and I'm quite slow, and up against somebody who's a Gen Y that's got ADHD, they're full on into the energy of like what it is that they're about quite often, and they speak really fast and everything's at a million miles an hour, and it's like, holy shit, you can't keep up with them, because you've got to almost like watch it again to be able to absorb it down to our level, because we've got a different processor. We're not quite as fast as theirs is, because they also have a new mind, like as
Yeah.
a younger mind. They've got more electrolytes, they've got more
Yeah.
energy to give and output. But anybody who does have any form of ADHD really needs to find their niche, really needs
Definitely.
to find what their spiritual purpose is, and begin to apply and absorb themselves in that work, because that's exactly what their destiny really should be. And they've got to free their minds and free themselves of the programs that
Yeah.
restrict and constrict their energy from actually living their truth. And when you actually step into your full power as a spiritual person, and dedicate your life to being a spiritual teacher or a mentor or a coach or a like practitioner, you will go through multiple layers of um, breakthrough energy to unify your own physical field, or heal all the stuff that's happened to you in past lives, heal the stuff in this life. Sorry, wrong way around. Heal the stuff in this life, then go into the past lives. And it's a big journey of self-exploration. And I always say to people that the earth is really a school. So wherever you are in your box right now, you're learning something.
Mm.
And I am with every day that I'm encountering. We're
Yeah.
all in some sort of school of learning, but we're also trapped in what I classify as a penal colony planet, where the density is quite suffocating and excruciating and designed to suppress people and make them slaves. So
Mm.
now is the time to really break up out of slavery or the systems that enslave you, so
Yeah.
that you can step forward more into your empowered self. And if that involves going off and learning new modalities and learning new stuff and learning business skills so that you can be a part of the next ascension wave of people. I really believe that the next generation is going to be completely autonomous from the system. They're
Mm.
going to work online. They're going to exchange with a new form of currency. And not only are they going to receive with new forms of currency, they're going to receive from new forms of energy coming through the physical being and coming through their body as a vessel in order to communicate with the rest of the world. And I can see even more. I've had to break through many limitations myself in order to step up into the energy that they're going to take ownership of
Mm.
very shortly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, definitely. And it is actually understanding that we have been enslaved and to various thought, um, thought frames that have trapped us. And even the fact that, ADHD or, the spectra, any of those things, they're labels. So a lot of these kids have come in having a label and fitting into a box. And just growing up, going, and having excuses made for them. So it's kind of like them having to kind of like you said, just reinvent themselves or rediscover what their purpose is, and actually step into that gift that they were given, rather than look at it as a problem, because it definitely, can be seen as a gift.
Mm. And sometimes it does take a long time to actually understand what is really intrinsically like your divine purpose, or what's encoded in you for you to learn and experience in this lifetime. And if you're spiritually inclined, and looking to create a spiritual business, I've actually created a book recently called Monetize Your Magic, for people to actually analyze themselves and dial into what's embedded in the core of what I classify as their akashic knowledge, their wisdom that's inherent inside of them, because they can access that. So I will put a link at the bottom of this video, just in case anybody is looking to dedicate themselves to a spiritual way of life and use their spiritual gifts. But for people who are young and don't actually know what it is that is in their destiny and purpose, even if it's not spiritually aligned, have you got any recommendations that you could suggest to them?
Like to find their spiritual purpose or anything like that, or is that what you're?
Yeah.
It's the old thing about just really tapping into yourself, tapping into your heart, and it takes time. It takes time to do that, and to trust those messages that you received, and actually even look back. Like, I mean, we're a little bit further on, so we can look back and go, particularly now, and go, gosh, that was this was these are values that I've always had in my life, or gosh, now I look back and that makes sense why I thought like that when I was younger, or whatever. But yeah, definitely look back and think, what was important to you as a child?
Absolutely, that's one of the keys that I throw in there. So usually what we were fascinated by or interested in as children, I had some gifts already that I didn't actually want when I was a child, but I always knew I was going to have a crystal store. That was always on the cards. I just didn't know how, when, why, or what. And I think one of the biggest things that young people can do to actually dial into what they could apply themselves to is really understanding what you love doing is what you need to align your energy with. So if learning new skills associated with some form of if it's creative, you're going to live an awful lot better life than you are if it's like mundane, or you're just going to work to do the motions, to go and do a job that you don't really, you're going to end up bored in.
Yeah. And how good has isolation been for actually, bringing out all those creative abilities that people have had? I've had, again, more music, more painting, more art, more gardening, more creative projects being, more cooking, all those sort of things that people have.
More opportunity to actually take care of yourself rather than giving all your energy away. So when lockdown was released, or I was extremely busy during lockdown. I was so busy I didn't have time to take a breath. And I was definitely not ready to come out of the cave, and I still am not, because I've been working hard on many, many different things. And, you know, this is one of those things. So this is, you know, my new channel that I'm going to start pumping out metaphysics videos and topics on different discussions, as well as working with the next generation of light workers in spiritual business. So watch this space, because I'm going to be talking about everything I can possibly put up here that doesn't get actually stripped from the internet.
So don't talk about HCQ or...
Yeah, no, I'm talking about all the intensely woo-woo stuff that,
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm well known for, and
Yeah.
I've supported community on the northern beaches with for the last 7 years. So would you like to add anything else to this contribution?
Getting back to, just not that I want to ramble on and on, but really getting back to the ADHD, I would be a perfect candidate for that. Like, I was born with so much energy, and I just feel like I'm so blessed that I didn't grow up in this era, because I used to do somersaults at 11 o'clock at night. My mum said I cried for 10 months, as a baby. So, and I feel like,
Yeah, because you
now,
probably went, oh, sod it, not back down here again.
that's right. But also just, I mean, now I'm vacuuming at, 11 o'clock at night thinking this is fantastic. So for those people out there who have got the energy, like, to, that it's not a curse. It's actually, it's a blessing. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to add that, because I think that we need to, go back, find that gift within, and actually not label ourselves as, as where society has put us, and actually find our uniqueness and our individuality to bring forward and bring new life into this world.
Work on those gifts and talents.
Definitely.
Relentlessly. I don't have ADHD, and I don't know what it would be like to have ADHD, but like, I can definitely appreciate the fact that I quite often work until 1 o'clock in the morning. And even if I go to bed before 12, like, I'm awake 2 hours later, and I've got to channel energy down from the cosmos, because it wants me to do some work on either on myself or a planetary level. So I can appreciate all of the symptoms of that without being. But I think now more than ever, it's all about applying yourself to what is intrinsically most important in the core of your being. Whatever it is that you need to learn, whatever skills you need to do or achieve or overcome or integrate, now must be achieved, because this is a golden opportunity for us to really hone our skill set.
Yeah, for sure.
At a global level, because we need every person that we can, whether in the spiritual industry, whether in the caring industry, whether they're in the health industry, supporting, like, making changes. We need it. In the book, I list an entire army of light workers in different fields that need to come forward to actually work on the recalibration of this entire planet, which is really in a state of struggle energetically at the moment. So,
and don't believe everything that we're question everything. Don't actually just take it as because somebody that's got a position of power happens to say this is how it is. Like, if it doesn't sit right with you, if there's something in you that says, oh, maybe, is that right? We'll question it and chase that little niggling voice inside that, because it's going to lead you to the answer, isn't it?
Yeah. And if you're confused and you don't know what to do next, one of the ways to actually find out or get more inspiration is to unjack yourself and go and meditate, go and sit on the beach for half the day or something, like, even if it's cold like it is in Australia at the moment, but just disconnect yourself from people that are around you, that you're taking care of, that things you're working on, and then just go and write out what it is that makes your heart sing.
Yeah. And definitely, like exactly what you said, going out to the beach, grounding yourself is so important at the moment. Like, again, I'm not really, I've probably never felt more anxious, actually. I'm not an anxious person. I don't suffer from anxiety. So I really feel for the people that do. But I have felt it lately. I have felt those pangs of, of heart palpitations and things like that. So going out, grounding yourself and being in nature has helped me. Yeah, I do it daily. I take my shoes off, even if it's freezing, and rug myself up, on top, take my shoes off and just step on the grass outside and just feel that energy, going into the ground, because it helps.
It's very
Sorry?
important. Getting some sunlight, 15 minutes, just being still with your face to the sun, and then sitting and writing and meditating. It's the perfect medicine at the moment that everybody could just do with. So pick it up, people.
Self-love.
Yeah, be kind to yourselves. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Louise Winchester, the Spiritual Business Mentor, and this is Helen Dunne, the Salon Mentor. I do hope you liked our little contribution to society today, and feel free to leave any comments. Leave us a comment if you want us to talk about any particular subject that's esoteric, and we'll integrate it into the next broadcast. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.